Hello, this is Winston Cunningham. It is October the 6th, 2025. And as you can see, I'm in a parking lot and there's a slight rain and there's a construction site close by, so there may be noise. Sorry about that. I'd like to talk about the giving is the key. Each of us were given everything in the beginning. This is coded into the I am, which is the light within us. It's actually coded in the vehicle for I am to get acquainted with itself. This is mind. It's coded into the first level of mind. And within this level, there's a perfect balance of aggressive and receptive principles, the male and female. He created them both within one person. He wasn't talking about the different genders. That the phrase was not talking about that. We were all given everything. We all have to, the I am is the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. So it's a continuous loop, and we will continue this loop until we completely understand ourselves. This will get us through this level of understanding. Jesus, Buddha, and Zarathustra, and Muhammad, and all those people that are ascended already, they've been through this process already. And in their own way, they were showing us how to do it, because we got to do it too. And for this, the current level of time, the current period of time, most people are still stuck in the seventh level. As we moved out through the first, all the way, from I am through the first level of mind on out to the seventh, by the time we got to the seventh level, we forgot where we came from. And that's where most people are at this present time. So there's this great push towards stimulating people to grow back. We're like the prodigal son. It's time to go back home. We've gone out into the physical to gain experience, and now with that experience, we begin to work back in. And so and everyone is in a different place, so you can't compare one with another. But each person has something unique, because you can't compare one person with another. Each one, even though we're all on the same path, we're all in a different place on our own map, so to speak. So no two people have the same amount of past understood experiences. And each experience holds the possibility of each of us gaining understanding about ourselves. And there's 144,000 different pieces, so it's going to take a couple of days. Each person is unique, and as such, has something to offer the rest of us that is unique to them. So the more people that get on board and begin to offer to others what they have, and they start giving, then we will all benefit from that. And can you imagine how it's going to be if everyone is giving what they have? When you're in the process of giving, you're not caught up in the hoopla that's going on in just the physical part of this world. And so you can be, I did a talk on being distracted or growing. There's one or the other. You're distracted. I go to the YMCA every day, and I'm sitting in the parking lot now. I'm getting ready to go in after I do this talk. I did this talk once before, but for some reason, after about 5 minutes, my voice went into slow motion. And so I'm doing it again. Hope that it'll work different this time, because there's a full moon tonight, and full moons interrupt communication and a lot of other things. It's because it's and I did another talk on this, the way the full moon affects emotions. And most people just don't understand emotions. I do. I did a talk on emotions, and also anxiety, which is a result of ignorance of emotions. But each person has something unique to give to the rest of us. And it is the giving that is the key to what will be returned to you. I learned at School of Metaphysics that intention sets into motion what we will experience. And it is through our own experiences the only way we can discover truth. That's why I wound up at School of Metaphysics. Church and school didn't tell me what I needed to know about what is truth. How do you find it? Well, the School of Metaphysics showed me how. And I've been building on that ever since. And it's been 40 years since I was at the School of Metaphysics, but I'm still pulling on what I was told by different people and what I've read in different parts of the lessons and so forth, and what I experienced as a result of the exercises. It is the exercises, the activity, that caused my consciousness to expand. And the consciousness is still expanding. I've been able to, in the last few years, pull some things forward from my previous lifetimes. Each lifetime, whatever you learn this lifetime is all you can keep, and that's stored in your own soul. You go through this process after you withdraw from this physical body. You go through a assimilation process. You glean all the understandings from this lifetime, and then that's stored in your soul, and then you go on and start getting ready for the next. So that's the procedure. But we are in a precarious time, and possibly the greatest time on earth so far. It could turn out to be the greatest. It could turn out to be the worst. That depends on if enough people start giving what they have. Put your attention away from what's going on just in a physical sense, such as wars and all the foolishness of the politics and religion and all of this stuff. And most people put religion up here, but I put it down here because I've risen above religion. That's the first thing I had to do. And I didn't know how to do that. I found out at School of Metaphysics. They didn't tell me how per se. I mean, it fulfilled my desire. It wasn't necessarily their desire, because even at School of Metaphysics, people are in a different place in their understandings. And so I've learned how to appreciate that. But each person, no matter where they are, can offer me something. So whenever I'm talking to somebody, I'm particularly paying attention. I'm like a third person that's observing the whole thing. So there's something that I can get from that person, depending on what they're giving and what they're aware of. And a lot of people are giving what you have without even being aware of it. And it would be advantageous to learn what you have to give and being aware of giving it. And I'm in the middle of producing that myself. This is why I do these talks, because if you'll go to where this will show up on, it's on Facebook, We're Valuable Media, but it's also on YouTube at The Next Step, Winston Cunningham. That's where you find it. But I state my purpose very clearly, and if someone in the process of their growth needs to hear something I'm saying, then their own soul will connect them with this video. That's the way it works. I've found this out through my own experience. And of course, the School of Metaphysics started the ball rolling for me. and I stayed at school long enough to get what I needed so that I could continue what I needed to do this lifetime. And I'm just now at 80. I'll be 82 on Thursday of this week, of the 9th, October 2025. And so I'm just getting started with what I came here to do. And I'm understanding it more as I get into it. It's like Jesus said, stay there till you go there. So my attention is in the activity that I've initiated, and I'm kind of growing into it, so to speak. And when I started this, I didn't know how many talks I would do. I still don't know. I do one a week, and that seems to be working okay. And what I'll do next with this, I don't know. But right now, I just want to make these talks available so that each person's soul that needs to hear what I'm saying will direct them to it. And this is my giving. And I just yesterday, I made a firm decision. Early in the morning, I was having a great revelation. And feeding on the full moon, if you're up, it'll lift you on up. If you're down, it'll put you on down. So I like to absorb the energy of the full moon, and I think that may have had something to do with me coming to an important decision early yesterday morning. And I was in the frame of mind. I was practicing Hong Sau, and every cell in my body was alive. So I know I can trust what I come to during that time. I learned this through teaching at School of Metaphysics. I learned to trust that. And so within 24 hours after making this decision, I get a call from a friend that I hadn't heard from in a while. She lives in Florida, and she wants to take advantage of a service that I have to offer. And I had just decided to change the way I would receive compensation for this particular service. And her call and subsequent question are about wanting to take advantage of this service that I have, this procedure. That was verification from the universe. Or now, a lot of people call this God. I term it the universe because I don't yet know who or what God is, except that I think it's the same thing as universe. I won't have any way of knowing God until I know myself. When I know myself completely, then I can when I am at God's level, then I can understand who He is. From where I am, there's no way. Now, people that I hear people talking all the time, God wants you to do this, God wants you, well, they don't know. They think they do because that's the popular concept. And they're after satisfying other people. Remember, Jesus said, when you pray, do it this way. Don't be like the hypocrites who stand on the corner and just want to be heard, want to be seen. That's just foolishness. And Jesus was pointing out over and over the foolish things that people do, thinking that it's the right thing. There's no right or wrong. I mean, if you're stuck on right or wrong, there's nowhere to go with that. So you stay stuck. You're stuck. But look within, and part of the way to look within for meditation is listening within for the answer to your prayers. And I'm in a state of mind now to where I'm listening pretty much all the time, not just some of the time. But let me share with you the first exercise I got at School of Metaphysics, which will benefit a person now if they need to understand what they have to give. And I went through that process because it was pointed out on a health reading I got one time that I needed to identify what it was I had to give and proceed to give it. And I'm just now, after many years, I'm just now getting to where I'm really into giving what it is that I have to give, which is what I've come to understand. That's why I'm doing these talks. So set aside 10 minutes a day, look into the mirror to where you can see your whole face, make sure the lighting's good and everything. But put your attention here in the mirror, not on your person. And after 10 minutes, keep a separate log and log whatever your experience is. And do that, and you will gain some understanding of yourself. And you may not have looked at yourself in this way before, but spending 10 minutes a day looking into your own self through this is the eye of perception, the center of intuition in man. It is the pituitary gland. And so to stimulate the pituitary gland, there are things you can do, but look to see your whole face with your attention. Now, if you were sitting next to me, I would demonstrate, look in my face, and then I would touch your hand. I said, well, where did your attention go? See, where you're looking is different than where your attention is. Attention is the only muscle in the mind. And how you choose to use your attention decides where you are. And there's no distance between minds. You can be anywhere, at any place, at any time, just by directing your attention there. And concentration exercises teach you how to redirect your attention when you get distracted. And I won't go into that here. But check into the School of Metaphysics and ask, it's SOM.org, and ask if there's a way for you to have access to some concentration exercises. And they'll probably have something for you, I don't know. But if you want to become a student, that's what I did. And I became a student, a teacher, and then finally a branch school director. Wound up directing 2 different schools. And now, but look within, look at yourself to see more than what you've seen before. And decide, make a firm question. If you want to listen to my talk, I did a talk on the question. So listen to that so you can clarify your question so that you can get an answer to the real question from your own soul. Your own soul will construct the experience or connect you with an experience to show you how something works. That's the way it works. And I've been doing this for 40 years, so I've gained a lot from it. There's another thing you can do to discover what you have. There's one of my talks, you can find it on this same site. Another one of the talks is 28 Days to Insight. It's a procedure that takes 28 days, and you can't take a shortcut. But if you're willing to do this for 28 days, I did this, and I've discovered a lot of things, or some things about myself that I didn't know before. So this may be a way for you to find out what it is you have to offer, to give. Because at the end of this procedure, I saw some things about myself that I didn't know were there. So everything you need is already in here. Already. Everything you need is already here. So don't waste time looking here, there, and yonder. Jesus said this pretty clearly. And I won't try to repeat his words. Go back and read everything like the song says. Pay attention to the words written in red. Those are the most important. but see how it applies to you. Not what you should do, what you shouldn't do, but what is. Look here, because you've got everything that is inside you. The second coming of Christ is actually becoming aware of the Christ consciousness within you already, and it's been embedded in the first level of mind. And bringing that forward to where you can use it out in the physical. That's the second coming of Christ. It's not Jesus showing him up and saying, boo. Jesus actually represents the part of each of us that knows. He introduced the knowing quality. And yet, after 2,000 years, people are still hung up on belief. Take steps to prove what you believe through your own experience. That's the way you can know. Not hearing it from other people, not reading it, but through your own experience. So discover what you have to give and proceed to give that. Put your attention on giving that and away from taking. The internet is how can I get. But where I am is how can I give? And I'm seeing different ways every day that I can give. Now, I don't get into the ball game of listening to everyone else's concept of how I need to give. That's my job. I'm not here to satisfy other people. I'm here to fulfill my commitment for this lifetime. And I'm just getting fully into that now. And I love it a little more every day. Imagine how this world would be different if everyone was giving what they have to give to the rest of us. Everyone has something special. Everyone has something unique that nobody else has. What you have to give will help the rest of us. So rather than putting your attention on how I can make them do whatever, put your attention on how can I? How can I? I'm Winston Cunningham. Thank you.